Did the bear market just start off today where we saw the volatility index spiking up? However, something that's a little bit suspicious, which we talked about today during the all-day live stream, was the fact that as the market was selling off, the fear and greed index actually ticked greedier. On Friday, the fear and greed index closed at 63. Today, we're sitting at 65. So what's behind all the big moves out there? If we look at the economic calendar for this morning, we have some ISM numbers coming out at 9:45, then at 10 a.m. However, tomorrow is going to be critical. We have the JOLT job openings coming in at 10 a.m. Then on Thursday, we have more jobs data coming out with the ADP non-farm employment change and the weekly unemployment claims, along with some other ISM numbers coming out tomorrow as well. Then on Friday, it's going to be about jobs. We have the NFP numbers coming out. We have the average hourly earnings coming out. And we have the unemployment rate coming out, along with FOMC member Williams will be speaking at 8:45 p.m. So the next 3 days should be action-packed in the market. If we look across the board, all we see is a sea of red. No bounces allowed. Nvidia was down 9.53% on the session. And we look at how the indices fared across the board. The Dow was down 626 points. The NASDAQ was down 577 points. S&P 500 was down 119 points. Russell 2000 down 6.67 points. Now, what is more impressive, if we look at advancing issues versus declining, we had 80% of issues today declining on the day. And if you guys joined me during the live stream, we did not hear a lot of the knocking on the door sounds today. There wasn't a lot of fast movements to the downside. It was just like every candle produced a new low. Now, we come over and we look right here. We look at sectors across the board. The only sector in the green today was consumer defensive. Every other sector was in the red. And if we look, technology really led the way, down 4.4% on the session. Now, I'm not sure this chart has updated or not. I think it's roughly the same as it was earlier. But when we come over, we want to pay very close attention. What is the 10-year and two-year doing? We are coming very close to finally being uninverted. That out there is going to be a problem for the stock market. Then we come over and look at crude oil today. Look what it did. Came all the way down, breaking these two lower swing points. So that ABC pattern that we were talking about had potential up to 80. You know what? That pattern has now been null and voided. It is no longer a thing to worry about. So why is crude oil selling off? Is it because we're coming into a period of economic slowdown, or is it more in line with seasonality where we see a lot of weakness in September? We talked about this chart several times throughout the day. Normally, the first 10 days of September normally do lean more bearish than bullish. However, not as much as what we saw out there today. Then the last 10 days, that's where things are really going to start to pick up towards the downside. And over the weekend, I warned you guys, today had a very high probability chance of being down today, and it did not disappoint. If you guys watched me during the live stream, I got into a slippery slope where initially I was looking for a long trade to try to then go ahead and take a quick profit and get short. And you know what? I ended up getting trapped on the day. However, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Not every day is going to be a great day in the market. We look out here at the dollar index. Dollar index is coming right back to where our structure breakdown point, and the MACD indicator does have a bullish cross. Now, the question is going to be is, once we come up towards this area, do we reject and start coming back down, or do we punch through it? If we continue to go higher, that is not likely going to be favorable out here for the stock market. Now, as we come over and look at gold, we talked about this during the live stream as well. We still have this ABC pattern up here at 2586.8. Notice what we've done. We've had a big move up, and now we've had a consolidation. Now, that would be normal. I would still say the cards are still in play for a move up towards completing that ABC pattern. But wait, if we start breaking down, we start breaking below this swing point over here, I'm still not worried. It's not until we come all the way down here below 2400 where I would invalidate this ABC pattern completion. Keep in mind, the Fed is still on path to cut rates. Now, right now, there's a 65% chance they're only going to cut by 25 basis points. There's a 35% chance they're going to cut by 50 basis points. Let me know in the comment section down below, how many basis points do you think the Fed is going to be cutting rates by out here in about 14 days at the next FOMC meeting? Now, if we come over and look at Nvidia real quick, it was down almost 10% on the session. We were able to come down and fill some of these gaps. That's why I always say it's very important to pay attention to the gaps. Now, one thing to note, we've had a very healthy pullback, and now this is a wide candle on the way down. Do we start to get some type of relief tomorrow? Does the jobs numbers come out a little bit better than expected? Well, if we come over and look at the Dow Jones, we have a little bit of a wick on the bottom of this candle. and we're still basically up here at these upper level areas on the chart. Then we come over and look at the small caps. Small caps today, now looking like we may be producing a lower high. That could actually set the stage for a larger ABC pattern on the way down, which I'm not going to draw that pattern out just yet. I'm going to give it a little bit more time. That is something I most certainly am going to be open to. Let's not forget, we still have this gap gaping below us down here at 206.65. We need to keep this on our radar. However, where a lot of attention is going to be focused on today is going to be the NASDAQ. When we look over here at the NASDAQ, we can now see that I want to make everybody aware, Apex having a massive 80% sale off all their valuation accounts, passed in as little as 1 day, and $35 reset fees. However, the biggest one is $85 lifetime activation fee across any of the evaluation account sizes. If you want to take advantage of this offer, use the link in the description box down below and use promo code Mike at checkout. We can now see that from the monthly perspective, we had a hangman-ish candle. Most of the time, this is going to be bearish when it's in an uptrend. However, we did close near the upper part of the range of that candle last month. Now, we also look at the bear flag pattern, and we are closing below the lower portion of the trend line. So if this is going to be nothing more than a trap to go ahead and get long, if this pattern is going to play out, we need to turn tomorrow. If not, then we're probably going to come down lower. We filled one of the gaps today. We still have another gap all the way down here at 451.23. As we look out here on the 4-hour chart, we see the MACD indicator is crossed to the downside, getting very close towards that zero line. On the 1-hour chart, bearish cross to the MACD indicator. However, on the hourly chart, you can see we have a hammer candle closing at the end of the day. MACD indicator still is not showing any signs of firming up yet. Yet being the key word, we can still firm up at any moment. Then when we look out here on the 30-minute chart, notice the MACD indicator went down, starting to base out here just a bit. So do not be surprised if we start to bounce tomorrow. Now, one of the areas I do want to focus on is going to be this minus development area right here on the SPY. That's going to be anywhere from about 463.56 to about 464.39. Keep an eye on that area for tomorrow. We have another minus development area up here, which we marked off during the live stream at 468.18. all the way up here to about 468.45. Now, since we basically overthrew value area low, if we can stay above that area for tomorrow, I'll be looking for further upside testing. And as a reminder, if you guys want to get the overnight volume profile levels, join me during the live streams, which start at 9 a.m. I give out all those levels on the live stream. As we come over and we look at the NASDAQ real quick, look at the composite. We kept talking about this all morning long. As I was trapped, the market's just sitting there pounding on my trade, and we made it all the way down to 19,078.50. That point of control has now been tested, and we got to ask ourselves, are we about to bounce on the way up? Today, we've had a 772 point range, and we look out here at the daily profiles. This was just down, 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 down. Every candle from 9 a.m. in the morning all the way down until this candle right here. Every candle made a new low on that period. Then we get that wick at the end of the day. Now the question is, are we going to make it up towards a minus development area right above us? That area is 19,080. Up here it's about 19,103. Anything above that, then I'm looking up here towards about 19,268 to about 19,282. Now, as we look at the volume profile levels that we'll be dealing with tonight during the live stream, value area high will come in at 19,349.00. The point of control is going to be down here about 19,046.50. Value area low is going to be down here at 18,911.00. Here's what I'm going to say. If we can stay above value area low, I do want to target the point of control, but I want to caution you guys, when we get these big sell-off days, a lot of times when we close near the lows during Asia, we'll spike the low. So if you're looking to target the point of control, you might just want to wait and see, can we get a quick reaction on the way down during Asia? We pop back above value area low and then look to target some of those upward target locations that we just spoke about moments ago. Now, as we come over, look at the SPY, we get a nasty rejection candle on the way down. And we can see the MACD indicator now is starting to cross to the downside. Now it's looking more and more obvious now that we may just come down and hit that high volume area at 544.58. We also have that gap to be filled about 543.78. But then as we look at the 4-hour chart, MACD indicator crossed to the downside. We have a little bit of a wick on that last 4-hour candle. And on the 1-hour candle, notice we have a big hammer candle to the downside. So can we flush below this overnight and then maybe start to firm up tomorrow? Maybe the jobs data will be better than expected. We look out here on the 30-minute chart. We have a big wick on the bottom of this hammer candle. And notice value area low is way down here. And what I'm going to say for tomorrow, if we're above value area low, I want to look at some upside testing. We marked off one of the minus development areas today during the live stream. We have another minus development area which could be in play as well. That area is going to be anywhere from 553.91 up here to about 554.54. Keep an eye on that level. This is going to be one of the targets to the upside I will want to focus on if we are staying above value area low. Now, as we come over and look at the composite profile, look at what we talked about this morning. We talked about this during the live stream as well. We came down, we hit the high volume area. I talked about this in this morning's analysis part of the live stream. I just did not think we'd make it all the way down there today. Then as we come over and we look at the daily profiles, notice one heck of a bloodbath. The S&P 500 had a 153 point range all to the downside. Now we do have a minus development area that we marked off during the live stream. This could be a target location for tomorrow. That area comes in from about 55.61 to about 55.67. All right, so keep that area marked off on your chart. Now, if you look, we have value area low down here at 55.32.75. Ideally, tonight, what I'd love to see, spike down below that level, then start coming back up. Once you start coming back up, we can then look to target that minus development area, then maybe even up here towards the point of control, which comes in at 55.83.25. Keep in mind, value area high is going to be up here at about 55.98.75, which is where? Right on the edge of that secondary minus development area on the chart. These are going to be critical levels that you want to pay attention to for tonight and for tomorrow. Now, if you'd like to learn more about Bookmap, watch this video, Bookmap's Beginner Guide, right here.